We represent part of a hub of UK organisations that have been recognised by George Osborne this morning as leading in innovation, and the values that brings to organisations in the help against cybercrime, and certainly helping them be in a much better place when defending against cyber attacks.
Where do you start?
Well, clearly this is quite a big problem. Certainly a lot of our intelligence services have been focusing on where the threats actually come from. And I think certainly with the investment that's been announced this morning, we will, again, build out profile of who these individuals are, who these organisations are, and we can certainly create sort of patterns. So again, a lot of the research that we do at Glasswall starts to see patterns emerging in these types of attacks as they start. Again, this is where we come in with sort of innovation. So our technology is able to get organisations to a point where they can create their own unique standards, which builds up the defence side of things. And again, CEOs that have the technology in place then able to demonstrate best practice. So we know that the game needs to move on a little bit. We are very vulnerable as both a nation and as organisations. And again, this is why we've been sort of positioned as one of the leading innovators in that space as well.
But all a company can do, though, is defend itself, right? I mean, if somebody really wants to do a cyber attack on you, there's not a lot you can do to prevent that, is there?
That's where we rely on the government. So, and where I believe hopefully some of this investment that's been announced will certainly go into the forewarning of these types of events as well. So certainly in the investment, it's been announced that will certainly go on more people. That's critical. And I think in doing so, the 450 organisations that our UK government certainly does help protect at the moment, we want to see that increase. We want to see more information come out. Because again, forewarned is forearmed in these situations certainly as well. So you're right. I mean, it's difficult to make lots of sort of predictions, actually stop the attacks from happening in the first place, but certainly the effects of them can be mitigated as well.
So is this if I understand it, is it more about identifying the bad guys out there, or is it building cyber walls, if you will, to when they try that they will be unsuccessful?
Correct. It's a blend of the both. So I think, yeah, certainly you need to identify the bad guys, obviously where they are and how to disarm them in particular. So there's a lot in cyber warfare that's quite similar to sort of physical warfare, and a lot of the terminology is sort of fairly similar. So again, it is about disarming the bad guys before they have the capability to be able to do this as well. And an instance of that at the moment is that we know there is a terrorist cell with about 200 members at the moment in the Middle East, and it's a cyber terrorist unit. So these people are recruiting globally, and there is no finance in the motivation at all. This is going to be political, and this is about making statements, and they've put a stake in the ground and saying they will be targeting Western critical national infrastructure. So
is this airports, or what is it?
Sorry?
Is that airports or?
Airports, nuclear, water systems, and banking and finance has also been included in critical national infrastructure. Right. We could all imagine what would happen if the lights went off. We could all imagine what would happen if you went to the bank and found out you couldn't extract money out. These are all scenarios that the government does play out sort of fairly often. But I said to someone this morning, I felt like I woke up in a slightly different world this morning. It seems to become everything that we've been talking about for years and years seems to be becoming a bit of a reality. So it's definitely time. I think the timing with George Osborne's announcement this morning around technology and innovation, the extra spending that's going in and the budget's increase is extremely timely, and we welcome it as a UK technology innovator.